Hello. Is it a dream to want to see the light of day? Is it a dream to want to make your hunger pangs go away? Is it a dream to want your life to be filled with dancing? Kentucky woman, Appalachian dream, I hear your voice in the morning as you stand so strong and shining before the mighty man as he tries to bring you down with his money. Born a miner's daughter, you have seen the night, the darkness of survival in the broad daylight. Your sister went to Detroit and your brother went to war, and you stayed home to battle with strip mining. Kentucky woman, Appalachian dream, I hear your voice in the morning as you stand so strong and shining before the mighty man as he tries to bring you down with his money. Machines you use are noisy, the air you breathe is dust. You hate the thought of striking, but you know you must. The hours you are working are much higher than your pay, while the factory owner lives down in Miami. Kentucky woman, Appalachian dream, I hear your voice in the morning as you stand so strong and shining before the mighty man as he tries to bring you down with his money. Kentucky woman, Appalachian dream, I hear your voice in the morning as you stand so strong and shining before the mighty man as he tries to bring you down with his money. Is it a dream to want to see the light of day? Is it a dream to want to make your hunger pangs go away? Is it a dream to want your life to be filled with dancing? Water's coming down. Water from a mountain dam and the fruit of life will grow. It helps to feed a hungry land when the sky decides to snow. To Dad it means another way to spend his life on earth, but to the rest the water means a perfect swimming hole for all the children in the pastures where the water flows. Oh, sunshine turning shirtless backs to brown. water's coming down. Water is so scarce, and we knew we had to share with other thirsty crops. We had to take it when it was there. Moonlight water woke my pa and sent him to the fields. But the times that I remember best is when that sun was full for all the children in the pastures where the water flows, or sunshine turning shirtless backs to brown. Daddy's at the back, he's gonna see all his kids run wild. Summertime, the water's coming down. Come the water come down. Water come down. The water come down. Water come down. Water is like magic. It makes a child feel small. The brave and true for centuries have followed when it called. Water rushing by a child who's never seen the sea makes me think that there was something more than summer going on for all the children in the pastures where the water flows. Oh, sunshine turning shirtless backs to brown. Daddy's active back to see all his kids are running wild. Summertime, the water's coming. Summertime, the water is coming. Summertime, the water is coming. Summertime, the water is coming. Down the water come down. Water come down. The water come down. Water come down. Water come down. The water's coming. Water come down, water come down, water come down. We're in Pittsburgh. I can't believe it. We've been trying to get to Pittsburgh for a long time. I don't know why it took us so long, but anyway, I was raised on a farm, which that last song sort of came from. And after I was in grammar school and high school in these small communities, I went off to college, a little community college in Los Angeles called UCLA, and I got real lost. But it was during the height of the anti-war movement, and there was a lot of activity going on around the campus, but I had not had any experience with that, and I was quite terrified of the whole thing. I didn't know how to plug in, really. I wanted to, but I didn't know how. Every once in a while I would sneak over to a silent vigil that looked sort of like maybe there was room for me in it somewhere, but I was terrified the whole time. And so I would find myself going a little crazy, not being able to plug in there, but also not being able to get into the mixers that were going on, or joining a sorority or anything like that. So I spent a lot of time going to see movies. And I think I saw King of Hearts 12 times, you know. But what I realized was how couple-oriented Westwood Village, and then as I traveled around the world, is. I'd go down to Westwood Village is where UCLA is sort of planted, and I would go down to the different movie houses and go up and buy my little ticket. And the only other person in all of Westwood Village that didn't have a date was the woman that sold me the ticket. And going by this long line of couples to get to the end was like a spanking machine or something, you know, because they'd all look over at me and go, "Aw." You know. If I felt envy, that would have been one thing, you know, but I really didn't. They all looked like they were right out of 17 magazine and Sports Illustrated, and it was pretty boring. But
Oops. At any rate, I got to thinking about the concept of coupledom and how many people, because our society perpetuates that, probably don't go places by themselves if they don't have at least a stranger to go with. And so we wrote the song, and we want to sing it for those of you who dared to come here by yourself tonight. And, hope you continue to do so. Off the plane and I ran down the ramp, boots and denim, guess I looked like a camper, and there was my friend, all smiles and happy and right. There was her beautiful stranger. She introduced him, his smile was from Tucson. He thinks she's terrific, he likes what she's saying, so I take their arms and we go to the baggage claim. I'm saying it again to lovers claiming all that they've known. Still I am one, or I am three, alone. Oh, they say there is love, it's true, there's cherry wine, and misty mornings in the dew. Wind and sun, there's one and one, and that makes horse and carriage run. They say it's young and silly, but I like to see it. These folks that believe it, and they really feel what they show me. Come show me. I ran out of the rain and into the shop. Coffee smells good, give me breakfast for starters. And there is a friend, she calls to greet me, and right there is her beautiful stranger. Dark eyes and blue ones, I can't help but notice the looks and the longings that lovers rely on. I hug her to warm me, she shares me with her friend. I'm saying it again to lovers sharing all that they've known. Still I am one, or I am three, but I'm alone. Oh, they say there is love, it's true, there's cherry wine, and misty mornings in the dew. Wind and sun, there's one and one, and that makes horse and carriage run. They say it's young and silly, but I like to see it. These folks that believe it, that they really feel what they show me. Come show me. I went out on a weekend to see a good movie. Try not to let all the couples get to me. Where is the oneness we feel with each other that lets us be loving without being lovers? Strolling down alleys and peering in windows, new married couples all compromising. There's somebody's friend, aglow and charming, lost now to some beautiful stranger. Lovers losing all that they've known. Still I am one, or I am three, I'm alone. Oh, they say there is love, it's true, there's cherry wine, and misty mornings in the dew. Wind and sun, there's one and one, and that makes horse and carriage run. They say it's young and silly, but I still cry at things that are pretty. And I am one, and someday one will do. For you. Is there any place in the hall that you can't hear? Terrific. Here's for the sound people. Just in case there was some of you on that last song who were feeling a little bit left out, we don't want to alienate you so early on in the show. So we want to do a song for those of you who are wallowing in passion. Walks in parks at 6 in the morning, shirking work and drinking all day. Tingles jingling through me seem foreign. I want to be sure that the tingle endures. I want to be sure that you love me. Got me going, showing my feelings, feeling frantic, fragile, and free. Giving's got me getting excited. I want to be sure that the giving is yours. I want to be sure that you love me. Clinging, clutching, carrying, connecting, can't be caught or caged or confined. Racing, running, riding, reflecting. I just had to see that the caring's for me. I just had to see that you love me. Oh, can I ever write this down? Damn the poets, oh, can I dare to slow it down? You took my picture, you said I got style, but did you say I love you just to get me to smile? Strange, my brain is part of the planet, dear, I fear I'm due in LA. Things aren't going quite like I planned it. I just have to know before I must go. I just have to know that you love me. Oh, I'm so tired of trucking and driving. Cozy comfort's calling to me. If I start shucking and jiving, it's because I can feel that the tingle is real. So I try to conceal that I love you. I love you. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Here's the passion. After UCLA, see this little life story going on here. I somehow or other got into the movies and television, and had sort of a short-lived career because it was interrupted by the discovery of the FTA show, which is a show that stood for Free the Army. It was a group of entertainers which was sort of spearheaded by Jane Fonda and Donald Sutherland, who traveled around and performed for GIs and servicewomen who were against the war and against racism. And I got into that show, and my life began to change. In the Philippines, talking to the Filipinos there who are fighting for self-determination. In Okinawa, the workers who were striking against the military because some of them were getting something like 6 cents an hour pay from our fine military. So your billions of dollars that usually go to the military were not going to the Okinawan workers, you can know that. The Japanese women who showed me what an incredible struggle they have against sexism. The whole tour was just monumental, and when I came back I began to write a lot of songs, and this is one of them. It has grown in meaning each year as I've become more familiar with the struggles of different countries around the world. But it's a song about political prisoners. The definition for me that I use for a political prisoner is quite broad at this time. It's if you are a person of color living in a racist country, if you are someone who is working for socialism living in a capitalist country, you can become a political prisoner. If you are a lesbian living in a patriarchy, you can become a political prisoner. If you are anyone who's living in a society which cannot survive with your presence, you therefore can, if you are poor living in a rich run country. So this song is for political prisoners. Every year on my birthday, 3 gifts I always get without fail. I get 1 year older, and some war goes on that still aren't over, and one more freedom fighter goes to jail. So happy birthday, children of such sorrow. Are you wondering what to do about tomorrow? courage to keep on singing freedom songs. Now every year on my sister's birthday, 3 gifts she always gets without fail. She gets 1 year older, and the junta's prison makes her inside smolder as one more freedom fighter dies in jail. So happy birthday, children of such sorrow. Are you wondering what to do about tomorrow? Well, there is one more present, though you've had it all along, and that's the courage to keep on singing freedom songs. Now every year on all of our birthdays, 3 gifts we've got to promise that we're gonna get without fail. We'll get 1 year wiser, and we'll spin our web like a healthy spider and get our freedom fighters, get 'em out of jail. So happy birthday, children of such sorrow. Are you wondering what to do about tomorrow? There is one more present, though you've had it all along, and that's the courage to keep on singing. That's the courage to keep on singing. That's the courage. Please keep singing freedom songs. Throughout the evening, I'm going to be making little announcements because I feel like it's, since you all don't have access to the media, I don't imagine that the owner of your newspaper is here tonight, that if there's things that you might like to know about, this is one way that you can find out. The New American Movement is sponsoring a poetry reading with Ed Ochester and other poets from Pittsburgh at the Pitt Student Union Lower Lounge on Wednesday, October 13th at 8 o'clock. I'll leave all these on the stage so that you can, after the evening, if you want to come up and get this again, it will be here. In high school, there are a lot of women who are pressured by society to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, or the perfect secretary. And if a woman doesn't have that self-image of herself and she tries to create a new self-image, and everywhere she turns, she runs up against a brick wall, it is not surprising that a pressure builds up so great that she explodes inside. And it's a song about a woman who ended up in a mental institution. You dressed in gym socks and tennis shoes so you could ride your bike to school. Your starched white shirt tucked in a skirt revealed defiance, while matching sweaters were the rule. And while the other girls dressed up and went to dances, you played mazurkas at home. Your flaming spirit burned its passion on the ivory keys. Storm, but yet a breeze, you were an artist, precious artist. Now you're put away, locked up in a prison. Now you're put away in a safely padded room. Now you're put away. They say that you went crazy, but we're coming, coming.
to women who were strong. Amidst a multitude of fads and teenage idols, you felt the pressure to belong. But in the summertime, you joined the boys in baseball, as girls were playing games that weren't your own. With nimble grace, how you would fly the field in mighty speed, always in the lead. You were an athlete, graceful athlete. Now you're put away, locked up in a prison. Now you're put away in a safely padded room. Now you're put away. They say that you went crazy, but we're coming for you. You always passed me in silence. I never reached for your hand. Though someone told me that you liked to hear my music, I never joined with you to stand up and fight the myths, condemning you with rumors. Well, I never thought those things of you. But now with time, as my heart grows in love and gratitude, I hope that the rumors were true. Oh, dear, sweet woman, loving woman. Now you're put away, locked up in a prison. Now you're put away in a safely padded room. Now you're put away. They say that you went crazy, but we're coming for you. When we lived out on the farm, we didn't have a television, and it was a long drive, like an hour to the nearest movie house. And so my parents had to pretty much encourage us to entertain ourselves while we're out there, especially in the summer when we weren't going to school. And so I spent most of my time watching my older sister. She was a real gem. She was very tall and thin and lanky with these long arms and long fingers, and she was a dancer. And I put her up on a pedestal. It wasn't until much later that I learned that wasn't sisterly of me, so I quickly put her back down again, and we became good friends. But we were talking a couple months ago about what it was like to grow up as little sisters, and she reminded me about our dolls. She used to have 4 dolls, which were fashioned after the Little Women characters in that novel, Little Women, Meg, Jo, Amy, Beth. And these dolls were perfectly painted, little round faces with little eyes and nose and mouth, and their hair in little buns, you know, and had little lace dresses on, except for Jo. I think she had a cotton dress. And Timothy, my sister, used to put them on the shelf that she had built for them, and she would never touch them. She would just sit back and gaze at them and go on these long journeys with these 4 women. Someday maybe she'll write a book about where they went, but she never really played. Now, I played with my dolls. I would throw my doll around, you know. We would go on these great adventures up in climbing trees and mountains and everything, and fall off cliffs together and come back all bruised, but having been victorious on whatever our adventure had been. And
My doll was called Pitiful Pearl. I don't know if you remember her. She wasn't a big seller on the market, but I loved her dearly. She was, I guess, supposedly homely dolls for homely girls or something, but anyway, she was much more fun to play with, I thought, than the Little Women. But I think Timothy's greatest fear was someday I would get in her room and play with her dolls, you know. But one day Timothy was homesick, and she decided to sort of fix Pearl up, you know. And she gave her a haircut. And Timothy was only 12 at the time, so she hadn't had a lot of experience in the works of beauticians and so forth. And so when I got home, Pearl had hardly any hair at all. And I got very, very angry, you know, because I knew I wasn't allowed to play with hers, and she had just come in and messed with Pearl, you know, so she was in bad trouble. And the other part of it was, I don't know if I was really all that mad, but you see, Timothy was very hard to confront ever. She just sort of floated by, you know, and it was very hard to fight with her. So, but here she'd done something, she really knew that she'd done something wrong, and so I got a lot of mileage out of it, you know. I just pounded on this one for a long time, because she was 12 and I was about 7, and, you know, you got to get your kicks in when you can when you're a little kid. And anyway, I wasn't really so upset, because a few days before I had cut my own hair. So Pearl and I looked more alike than ever. There really is no moral to this story, except that Pearl is sitting in my apartment, alive and well, taking care of business. In fact, someone up from the Northwest sent me a doll to keep Pearl company when I was on the road, and it's an older woman doll. She's about 65 and has gray hair, and so they're hanging out together. And but Timothy's dolls are wrapped very carefully in crepe paper or whatever, and they are in a box. And so one can either look at that and say, good, that's what we should do with the prim and primping that we were all taught to do with those kind of dolls. We should shelve them. Or the other alternative, which we haven't decided exactly which to do on this, is to take them out and buy them all overalls and take them out for a good time and change their lives, you know? I wrote this for Tim. You got me flying, I'm flying. You inspired a sister song. All the pain you're feeling, I want to share with you. Help you through. You got me flying, I'm flying. You inspired a sister song. I never knew how good you'd feel, my friend, to me. And we are family. You would run and dance across the field, and hey, I would hide behind to see where you would go to play. You were being Isadora, I was being you, but did I know that I'd grow to say, yeah, you got me flying, I'm flying. You inspired a sister song. All the pain you're feeling, I want to share with you, help you through. You got me flying, I'm flying. You inspired a sister song. I never knew how good you'd feel, my friend, to me, and we are family. I believed the world would lay before you. Oh, the passions, oh, the gypsy secrets that you knew. I would wear the rose and cape when you were not at home, but did I know that I'd grow to say, you got me flying, I'm flying. You got me flying, I'm flying. You got me flying, I'm flying. I'm flying, I'm flying, I'm flying. You got me flying, I'm flying. You inspired a sister song. All the pain you're feeling,
heavy. You want to do it? For that final?
Started out fine, we were moving ahead. I was driving the truck, you were combing the hair on the head of the one in the middle. She was loving it all, bouncing round like a rubber ball, and you thought she was just about the finest kid. I had to agree, but maybe that's 'cause she looks like me, and you were filling a space, maybe taking the place of a father. But when you started seeing that it might be a scene, you got to complaining, you got pretty mean. First it was the weather and then it was me, but then you started taking it out on my baby. Well, if you think traveling 3 is a drag, well, pack up, loner. I got my own bag full of dreams for this little child of wonder, and you can only stay if you start to understand how the old campfire gets warmer with you. But even when you're gone, it still cooks the stew and the coffee. It frees my soul, and I ain't ready to grow that old. You say, go home, lady, and find you someone who's gonna turn into be a middle-class bum anyway. Well, he might make me some money, but that ain't the kind of life we're looking for, honey. So don't go around saying I've been a burden to you. You've been a burden to me, and we're through if you can't seem to find the joy in my living. Can't seem to get into taking and giving, 'cause I got a little one who loves me as much as you need me. And darling, that's loving enough for a hiking bootin' mother who's seeing the world for the first time with her own little girl. Sometimes when I'm singing that song, these women flash in front of my mind who I know are struggling with their children to keep them. And I almost forget the words sometimes because this time I just got to think about Yvonne Wanro, who's an Indian woman who defended herself and her children against an attack and now is being accused of murder. And as a Native American woman, she's going to get hit on all sides from the courts. But that song just keeps, every time I hear of another case of a woman and her children, it just seems to be a heavier and heavier song. One of the songs that we want to do is a song I wrote when I got back from FTA. But it came because of an experience I had with some Japanese people in Hiroshima. And I understand that there have been some people from Japan walking with the Continental Walk. Is that right? Yes. By the way, welcome to Pittsburgh. Are you all aware of what these people have been walking across the country? And they just arrived here, and this concert is, in many ways is in their honor. And I'll tell you more about the Continental Walk in a little while, but it's quite amazing that since January 31st, just think about how much you have done if you weren't on the walk. Think what you have done between January 31st and now, and then imagine that these people have been walking from community to community talking about social justice and disarmament and peace. That's a long time. I am quite in awe. In fact, the Continental Walk started in my hometown in Ukiah. I didn't get to go home for it, but my mom was there. And I also, before I forget, this has got nothing to do with the concert, but you'll have to bear with me because I have someone in Kansas City gave me a parka hood for a woman who's walking because she's getting cold and asked me to bring it to you. Are you here? Oh, I have your parka hood. them they were very concerned about you. Oh dear. Isn't it wonderful to be part of a movement, you know? Just call home and say, next person passing through, bring me my parka. I love it. Anyway, we were in Japan, the FTA show, and we were being given a tour of Hiroshima, the Peace Park there, which is a park that the citizens have put together to try to make sure that it never happens again. They've turned the site of the bomb into a peace park. And it's a very horrifying experience to take a tour of this park and the museum that has been put together. So I was feeling very guilty, that kind of guilt that immobilizes. And I mean, I was ready to give myself up as a white person from the United States who had been part of the country that had done this to them, you know, was, take me, you know, why are you even allowing me in your country? I'd really gotten to that sort of low denominator of guilt. And so this Japanese person sat me down and said, wait a minute, you know, you weren't even alive when the bomb was dropped, and it doesn't do any of us any good for you to mope here or go hide away or run to the hills or whatever with your guilt. That what you've got to do is look to your own time and become part of those people who are doing something to stop genocide and stop the injustices that are committed against people. And of course, he was talking about Vietnam. So that's when I came back and concretely joined the anti-war movement. But this was a song that came out of it. And the verses keep changing. There's a new one now as focus on different countries where genocide is being committed. Yeah. Please sing along if you want to. It needs a choir. Why do we call them the enemy? This struggling nation, now independent across the sea, oh Vietnam. Why did we encourage refugees? Did we think they'd all be killed before they'd been set free? Well, that's just a lie. It's one of the many, and we've had plenty. I don't want more of the same. No more genocide in my name. Oh, why are our history books so full of lies when no word is spoken of why the Indian dies and dies and dies, or that the Chicana loves the California land? Do our books all say it was discovered by white men? Well, that's just a lie. It's one of the many, and we've had plenty. I don't want more of the same. No more genocide in my name. Oh, why do we support a colony when Puerto Rican people are crying out to be free? We sterilize the women and we rob the copper mines. They think North Americans will always be so blind. No, that's just a lie. It's one of the many, and we've had plenty. I don't want more of the same. No more genocide in my name. Well, that's just a lie. It's one of the many, and we've had plenty. I don't want more of the same. No more genocide, no, 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 no. No more genocide, no, 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 no. No more genocide, oh, no, 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 no. No more genocide, oh, no, 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 no. No more genocide, oh, no, 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 no. gotta hang in there a little bit longer, though I know it's been too long. For so many years we have been fighting, so many years we have been strong. I have learned so much about living since I've seen you stay alive. I used to feel, well, hell, it ain't worth it, but now, dear friends, we don't wanna die. We've gotta hang in there a little bit longer, though I know it's been too long. So many years we have been fighting, so many years we have been strong. You gotta hang in there a little bit longer, though I know it's been too long. For so many years we have been fighting, so many years we have been strong. You gotta hang in there a little bit longer, though I know it's been too long. For so many years we have been fighting, so many years we have been strong. No more genocide, no, 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 no. No more genocide, no, 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 no. No more genocide in our name. We sing good. We're going to try to keep the intermission at about 10 minutes. I know that's wishful thinking, but this next song, you sort of have to use your imagination a little bit. Try to imagine that you're in a very dark, small, smoky nightclub. If you ever wonder whether music is powerful, for those of you who have never been in a dark, smoky nightclub, I want to sort of describe what you might see. Sort of will help you avoid having to ever go in and look at a small. Sometimes you'll go in and there's this half-moon bar, and in the center of it is a woman sitting at a piano, and she's wearing a long black gown, and her hair is in a beehive, and she's got red lipstick on that's sort of got a smile painted on her face because she's so bored. And her job is to play requests of the various well-dressed drunks that are sitting around at the bar. And they only know a few songs, so it's not a real creative job, but it's how she makes her living. I think you got the picture. There's a club down on the avenue where the hustlers come to jest, and a lady at the piano who can play all their requests. But she grows weary of the standards, and she sings her own refrain until Joe, the noisy bartender, starts in to complain. Lady, it seems you write a pretty melody, but your words are too full of pain. People come to be entertained. They don't want to see you act as they are. So be a star, be sparkle, be glitter, be taller, be thinner, be sure. One night the club was empty because the World Series kept them home. So the lady at the piano got to play there all alone. A group came in round midnight, and they stayed the whole night long. For the first time, someone listened to her very special song. Woman, it seems you write a song as as if just for me. You spill my life on the floor, but then you shine a light on the door. Don't let them make you weaken and bend. Come sing again, be honest, be giving. Remember, we're singing with you. Lives, and it's performed for women, and there's no element of racism or class oppression or any of the things that traditionally divide women and keep them apart in the music. And of course, because we are all human. Imagine my surprise. I love that I have found you, but I ache all over wanting to know your every dream. Imagine my surprise to find that I love you, feeling warm all over, knowing that you've been alive. Pirates off an eastern coast, woman, you lived in danger, but I hear your laughter, free of petticoats. No need for foolish chivalry, though you're living in the 18th century. You make love to each other on your boats out on the sea. Imagine my surprise. I love that I have found you, but I ache all over wanting to know your every dream. Imagine my surprise to find that I love you, feeling warm all over, knowing that you've been alive, knowing that you've been in my life. Lady poet of great acclaim, I have been misreading you. I never knew your poems were meant for me. You lived alone in a quiet den, pouring passion through your pen and weeping for your lady lovers as they safely married men. Rugged women gone before me, paving paths like pioneers, so often all alone, that dreamed of queens and Cinderella, paving disappointment and facing disappointment, facing disappointment when I was grown. Imagine my surprise. I love that I found you, but I ache all over wanting to know your every dream. Imagine my surprise to find that I love you, feeling warm all over, knowing that you've been alive, knowing that you've been in my life. Imagine my surprise.
I was just reading more about this Continental Walk. You know, I hope you all take advantage of these people. They're wonderful. There's so much to be learned from this wonderful troupe of walkers in your town right now. I really hope everyone takes advantage of them, as I just did at intermission. As I've been traveling with Holly around the country for the last few years, increasingly I've had, as a man, a real rare privilege to be an observer to this movement, particularly among women in this country, a movement that is built around women. And I think I didn't hear just what Holly said, but she talked about women's music. And I have really learned a whole lot from the ideas that I've heard expressed in workshops and things, and have gotten a great deal of inspiration and ideas, and have learned a whole lot about myself and the institutions that we have all grown up under in this country, and have gone through a lot of struggles inside of myself of how to deal with those things in a lot of different ways. It's a real hard time to be a man in this country. It's very difficult. Very serious. I take that very seriously. It's very difficult because we do live in a patriarchal society. And it is true that we are victims. We too are victims of that. But because we are privileged, because we are the privileged ones in that patriarchal society, it's necessary for us to become activists to change ourselves and to change those institutions. And right now, there's a very long ways to go in bringing about those changes. We're now just beginning to understand what has to be done, and we're beginning to see everything I think we're thinking about now is kind of a response to what has been said in the women's movement, rightly so. But I'm beginning to see now, the more we travel, that more conferences and things are happening in these kind of isolated spots of the country that are bringing men together who are concerned about sexism in our society. And more things are happening all the time. And the cultural part of that, of course, is what I'm interested in. And I'm beginning to write some songs in that area. But I really encourage other men in this audience and everywhere else for that matter, who are writing those kinds of things, to find out as a first step who the other people are around you that are writing those kinds of things, because those kind of songs do need to be heard. This song in particular is a song that delves back into my past, and even though it's a little bit indulgent as a song because it is kind of personal to me, I think that it's something that other men and women too can plug into. It's about those experiences you have with people, you know, that you just would give anything to live those experiences over again. Every time you meet the person that you were in this situation with, that I'm speaking about in this song, every time you met that person, you would just get this awful feeling inside of you, and would just, for 10 years, wish you could live that over again. It just like seemingly, you know, ruined your relationship with that person. Maybe you might know about those experiences. Well, the exciting thing about them is that we learn from those experiences, and I'm just now beginning to really discover that, because enough time now is beginning to have passed in my life to where 15 years has gone by and I can laugh and learn from those things, and it's a really special time in my life. This song is called Walls to Roses. Father, I can't see how you saw me an athlete, but I sweated each season for you. It seemed that these fingers did better with singers, but I needed a smile from you. The day of the series, I played pretty dreary, but I broke my left elbow for you. I know I disgraced you, I just couldn't face you, but I cried all night in my room. Well, I've got to tell you that I'm glad it's over. I've waited so long just to be your friend. I hope you've erased all you felt about baseball. I'm feeling so good about you. Golly gee Moses, walls are tumbling to the ground. I can see roses springing up all around. Amy, I've wanted to tell you I'm haunted by the night that I made it with you. You were a freshman when I popped the question. I remember the pain you went through. Some of the fellas got angry and jealous that you'd go out with me, but not them. They'd sit and kid me, I hadn't it in me, but I gave in to fear in the end. Well, I've gotta tell you that I'm glad it's over. I've waited so long just to be your friend. I hope you've excused me for the time I abused you. I'm feeling so good about you. Golly gee, Moses was a-tumbling to the ground. I can see roses springing up all around. Faggots and fairies, Tom, Dick, and Harry, sugar with spice wasn't nice. When I met Bobby, girls were my hobby, but they were costing twice the price. Musical summer, you were the drummer, we played a lot of songs that June. But as we grew tighter, choices grew wider, and I couldn't quite cut that tune. Well, I've gotta tell you that I'm glad it's over. I've waited so long just to be your friend. But now I'm expressing what you tried confessing. I'm feeling so good about you. Golly gee, Moses was a-tumbling to the ground. I can see roses springing up all around. Golly gee, Moses was a-tumbling to the ground. I can see roses springing up, springing up, springing up all around.
Well, the talent show's over. The blues has traditionally been used to express people's oppression. This particular blues is called I Don't Want to Be a Volunteer Blues. Charge me for my color, you charge me for my sex, you charge me for my therapy when I become a wreck, and then you ask me to work for free. You keep getting richer and it ain't doing nothing for me. Charge me for my food, charge me for my home, charge me for being single when I choose to live alone, and then you ask me to work for free. You keep getting richer and it ain't doing nothing for me. I got years of wisdom, I've got the ancient skill to survive. Sure, I know how to take your beatings and still stay alive, but I'd rather not. You see, I could be a poet, I could cure the sick, I could be a wizard if you'd get off my stick and quit asking me to work for free. You keep getting richer and it ain't doing nothing for me. I could be a witch if you'd get off my stick and quit asking me to work for free. You keep getting richer and it ain't doing nothing for me. Rockefeller, you ain't doing nothing for me. Jeff Langley. Speaking of the Rockefellers and other such powers, I think you have a company here called Duquesne Light. Is that true? It's your local electric company, and they want to give you a great big heist in your utility prices. So NAM, one of the groups that sponsored this, the New American Movement, wants to urge everyone to pick up a bumper sticker which says "Fight Duquesne Light" and put it on your car. There are always this, there's this myth in the rugged individualism myth of, I made it, I was poor, I was down out, I was black, I was a woman, I was I made it, you can, you're just lazy, And that kind of myth that keeps people hanging on to the possibility that they might really be the one next week to get the lottery ticket in New York City, or whatever, is what keeps us competing with each other and keeps us down. And these great, huge powers carry on laughing and up their shirt sleeves, knowing that none of us are going to make it, and they'll make sure we don't. This next song speaks of three sort of symbolic peoples who are not going to make it unless there is organized, conscientious change that we all are part of to change the oppressions in people's life. It's called "If You're Born in a Peach Crate Cradle." If you're born in a peach crate cradle, you will die like a fallen pine. Though the judge may agree to sell you justice, you will pay with your life in time. Oh, but does it always have to follow? Will the same always go? Life brings rain to some of us, to most it brings the snow. Manuel was a migrant. He learned to read in the fields, dawn till noon, bought a room and his family a meal. He said, we work with faulty machinery, but the foreman said no. And when the sheriff called the coroner, there were no questions. Now his family's alone. If you're born in a peach crate cradle, you will die like a fallen pine. Though the judge may agree to sell you justice, you will pay with your life in time. Oh, but does it always have to follow? Will the same always go? Life brings rain to some of us, to most it brings the snow. Billy Joe lived in Georgia. Her daddy left her for gin. Her only chance for advance was to sell her body to men. And then, one rainy night in the alley, her abductor came swift, and the end was as certain as a flickering flame in a drift. If you're born in a peach crate cradle, you will die like a fallen pine. Though the judge may agree to sell you justice, you will pay with your life in time. Oh, but does it always have to follow? Will the same always go? Life brings rain to some of us, to most it brings the snow. Johnny Ray lived in Harlem. He reigned as king of the dice, and he stayed from the grave with the blade of his knife. Then he stole a fifth of cheap whiskey. For that they put him in bars, and they say he's to blame for the slug in his brain, put there by the guard. If you're born in a peach crate cradle, you will
the judge may agree to sell you justice. You will pay with your life in time. Oh, but does it always have to follow? Will the saying always go? Life brings rain to some of us, to most it brings the snow. But does it always have to follow? No.
It's written by Jeff.
They used to say that a lady should be coy, should be shy, human toy, should just wait for her dream to show.
I'm not the kind of a lady, 'cause I'm strong, I'm in love, and I'm sure you're the one that I want to know. You're no longer a stranger. Ooh, that puts you in danger. I've been watching for you. You left yourself open. Ooh, that's what I was hoping. And now it's my move. I've been watching you living. You're a light, you're a sound, you're a sight. I've been bathing my eyes in you. And you've been watching me caring. Watch me glow, watch me burn, watch me know that if I love you, better tell you that I do. You're no longer a stranger. Ooh, that puts you in danger. I've been watching for you. You left yourself open. Ooh, that's what I was hoping. And now it's my move. You're no longer a stranger. Ooh, that puts you in danger. I've been watching for you. You left yourself open. Ooh, that's what I was hoping. And now, before we end this song, I want to tell you that there's one experience that I really need every night at these concerts to get on to the next one. There's one of them is hearing you sing along on some of the songs, and the other thing is hearing a group this large all go, so. You're no longer a stranger. Ooh, that puts you in danger. I've been watching for you. Here it comes. You left yourself open. Ooh, that's what I was hoping. And now it's my move. Now do it louder. You're no longer a stranger. Ooh, that puts you in danger. I've been watching for you. It's your last chance. You left yourself open. Ooh, that's what I was hoping. And now, oh, we got to do that again. And now, all right. I have very little to say about this song, except there are two kinds of people that do more for me, I think, sometimes when I get discouraged than anyone else in the world, and that's babies and old people. They give me perspective. This song's called Old Time Woman. Well, I just found out this afternoon I've been carrying life for two, and I needed some conversation to know what I should do. I was walking down a lonely street when I heard this talking chair. So I climbed up on the moonlit porch. I had to see what was there. Well, she was propped up on a pillow, rocking in a rocking chair. She looked like she might be lonely, like she maybe had some words to share. So I pulled up close and asked her name, and this was her exact reply: I am an old-time woman, and I'm just waiting to die. Well, then we got to talking, and soon we were the best of friends. I told her about my problem. She told me how it was back then. We talked about a lot of things I never thought she would have understood. But that old-time woman, she taught me good. She told me she'd never had a man till she was firmly wed. Never understood her ma until her pa was dead. But she remembered still her man came first and then her 13 sons. It wasn't till they had all gone away that she started to have any kind of fun at all. I wanted to make her young again, but all I could do was cry. She took my swollen cheeks in hand and made me look her in the eye. She said, if I had not suffered, you wouldn't be wearing those jeans. Being an old-time woman ain't as bad as it seems. Well, she was propped up on a pillow, rocking in a rocking chair. I'd never had such good talking. I knew that she really cared. I wanted to make her, yeah, but all I could do was cry. I love that old-time woman until I die. House that night, my problem seemed so small, and if I grow to be like her, soon I won't have any problems at all. Well, I know I'm going back again. I'm gonna rock with my finest friend. I love that till the end. She's so fine.
I guess.
Want to hear a love song? Just so you know we're not hardcore. What is this? You're not allowed to fall in love in the movement.
While we're sitting close to touch and talking,
like my brain is saying, don't go it all the way. Save that kind of feeling for another day. That kind of loving can make a traveler stay. Sometimes you say a look will cross my eye, while I sit alone and you are playing, like my heart is saying, don't play that song today, not while I'm trying to pack and get on my way. That kind of music can make a fiddler stay. Well, I guess I could get up and I would walk right out the door, and maybe I would forget you before I reach the highway. But sometimes a loving look comes across your eye. Oh, you're the sweetest thing that's ever touched me. I'm wishing I had loved you later on in life, but damned if your arms around me don't feel nice. Well, maybe if it happens once, it can happen twice. Maybe if it happens once, it can happen twice. At intermission, someone from the walk came up to me and said that a woman who's been in the hospital trying to take care of her wounds from walking, apparently, got to the concert late and came in just when you were all singing No More Genocide, and it's her favorite song, and it's been used on the walk a lot for them all to sing together and keep going. And they asked if you would all sing a chorus of it again so she could hear it. Would you do that? Well, that's just a lie. It's one of the many, and we've had plenty. I don't want more of the same. No more genocide in my name. Well, that's just a lie. It's one of the many, and we've had plenty. I don't want more of the same. No more genocide, no, 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 no. No more genocide, no, 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 no. No more genocide in my name. That was so pretty. Oh. Is that what we're up to?
Yeah.
Want to sing some more? Okay. What? We have two more songs for you, and both of them have parts for you. You have to become the radical version of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Or whatever. I don't know what that means. Last night when we were in Buffalo, we had the radio was coming through the speakers. Sometimes if you plug in, maybe this has happened to you at your house, you know, and the radio comes in your speakers. And so all through our whole concert, we had 101 strings accompanying us, you know. It's not always in the same key, but we felt like we had an orchestra for the first time on the road. I laugh. I was miserable. It's been very nice to be here with the wonderful sound and wonderful lights and y'all, and I really want to thank all the technicians for working on this show. It's very hard to run a show. Also, this is called Holly's Taking a Rest before this next song, because it's a biggie. I might as well catch up on something that I forgot. So, she's caught her breath. This is a song that was inspired when we saw factories in Vietnam. And they are a sight to behold. The drudgery of factory work is still there, for sure. But other elements of life are brought into the factory, like childcare, so you can see your children on a regular basis. Night school, so that you don't have to stop your education. Athletic teams, so that you can develop your athletic talents and play other factory teams. Cultural workers groups, where you can get together and become singing and dance troupes and go and entertain other workers, all within the context of the factory. And so we came back, and although we didn't write the song about the factory we saw, we wrote a song about a woman who organizes in a factory and wins. Use your laps for percussion. If Nikolai had a boat, if Nikolai made it a home, if Nikolai sang a song, she would sing, oh, harbor me. Nikolai, a girl, worked inside a factory. She never saw the sun and she never felt the summer sea. She dreamed one day she'd meet a prince, but she's been real disappointed since. Nikolai, a girl, got a big idea somehow, and she's sailing, sailing now. Nikolai, a girl, found a book called Organize, and she understood every word to her surprise. So with an old sail and a novice crew, they made a great big wave on the ocean blue. Nikolai, a girl, got a big idea somehow, and she's sailing, sailing now. Nikolai, a girl, sings her favorite working song to let the people know that now's the time to move along. Small boats on a mighty sea, small girls in a factory. Nikolai, a girl, got a big idea somehow, and they're sailing, sailing now. Now Nikolai has a boat, now Nikolai has made it a home. Nikolai sings a song, and she sings, oh, won't you come and harbor? Nikolai has a boat, now Nikolai has made it a home. Nikolai sings a song, and she sings, and she sings, and she sings, and she sings, and she sings. Oh, won't you come and harbor me? Won't you come and harbor me? Oh, sweet sisters, don't forget me. Are you ready? Oh, won't you harbor me? That's your part. Oh, won't you harbor me? In fact, there's three parts, so this part. Oh, won't you harbor me? Won't you harbor me? Oh, won't you harbor me? Won't you harbor me, harbor me? Oh, won't you harbor me? Won't you harbor me, harbor me? Oh. We need more harbor me's. sing it with everything you got. Now, really loud. Try to find someone who can turn the house lights on. We want to see you. Oh, there you are. Yeah, it's wonderful. Were you singing in the balcony? Oh, good. There's more of you here than I thought. This is wonderful. You're terrific. One of the reasons that we do concerts in halls where we can have lights and keep the audience in darkness is to try to create an element of theatrics which allows us to perform each song as if, which indeed they are, these little life plays, you know, different people's lives. And for people in the audience to be able to get involved with each of those characters as each song goes by in sort of the privacy of darkness, which can be a real important space that people need if they're going through changes along with the music, which is what we hope happens. But it's real important at the end of a concert to look around at yourselves and say, okay, this wasn't magic, it wasn't theater, it wasn't make-believe, it's for real. Those songs are about real people. We are real people. We live here in Pittsburgh, and we have to take this energy that we've been all sharing and take it out into the community and put it to work. And so we want you to look at each other and see that you are indeed for real. And if it can happen once, it can happen twice and all that. And ask you to sing this next song and last song with us. This song helps me sometimes when I get real tired, because if I'm working in one isolated kind of issue, I sometimes can feel real overwhelmed by the power of what I'm working against, but if I can put it in context, it somehow helps, and this song puts things in context for me. The interesting part about this song is that as Jeff and I travel places, we found that many of the verses, people don't remember where they came from or how they happened, because so quickly our history is being robbed of us. For instance, the first verse is about Kent State and Jackson State. There are people who were in grammar school when that happened who are now young adults who don't remember it happened, don't know about it. It's not being talked about. It's not in the books. And they have no way to find out about it unless you who were there tell them. But that's how quickly this is all being sort of pacified and pushed away. So you don't remember who your heroes and heroines are. Don't remember who the people who have struggled before you are. The second verse is about Victor Jara, who's a Chilean songwriter and cultural worker who was killed by the junta at the time of the coup in Chile. And people have already forgotten that there was a coup in Chile. and that in fact things are as bad there as ever, that there are hundreds and hundreds of political prisoners, and Chile is putting on a good face for you to make it look like they're making some humanitarian improvements, but it's just a facade. The third verse is about women who are struggling in national liberation fights all over the world, living in jungles, defending their dignity as well as their race and their nation. And the chorus is about us, so I hope you'll sing it. Students in our country at Kent and Jackson State, shot down by a vicious fire one early day in May. Some people cried out angry, you should have shot more of them down. But you can't bury youth, my friend, we grow the whole world round. And it could have been me, but instead it was you. So I'll keep doing the work you were doing as if I were too. I'll be a student of life, a singer of songs, a farmer of food, and the righter of wrong. It could have been me, but instead it was you. And it may be me, dear sisters and brothers, before we are through. But if you can die for freedom, 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 freedom. If you can die for freedom, I can too. The junta took the fingers from Victor Harder's hands, said to the gentle poet, play a guitar now if you can. Well, Victor started singing until they shot his body down. You can kill that man, but not his song, 'cause it sung the whole world round. And it could have been me, but instead it was you. So I'll keep doing the work you were doing as if I were too. I'll be a student of life, a singer of songs, a farmer of food, and the righter of wrong. It could have been me, but instead it was you. And it may be me, dear sisters and brothers, before we are through. But if you can sing for freedom, 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 if you can sing for freedom, I can too. Woman in the jungle, so many wars away, studies late into the night, defends a village in the day. Although her skin is golden, like mine will never be, her song is heard and I know the words, and I'll sing them till she's free. It could have been me, but instead it was you. So I'll keep doing the work you were doing as if I were too. I'll be a student of life, a singer of songs, a farmer of food, and the righter of wrong. Oh, it could have been me, but instead it was you. And it may be we, dear sisters and brothers, before we are through. But if you can live for freedom, 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 if you can live for freedom, I can too. I can too. I can too. We can too. Thanks for singing with us. Thanks to the sponsoring groups and all the technicians, Jeff Langley, and yourselves, the most important part of the concert. Thank you. We,